The hate plague had begun with infected transformers, but soon spread to our human populations. Is there any cure? And if not, when will the plague end? And will any of us be left alive?
BLURR is fast enough to escape the perimeter of the lab before he and his team can become infected. Finding Cup and catching him up on the current situation, the old Autobot sergeant has mustered together this small crew to go protect the nearby human population and do anything they can to halt the advancement of the incredibly powerful SUPERION, who is already raging through the city. An unstoppable giant that even the PROTECTOBOTS as Defensor have yet been unable to contain. As Defensor falls back, urging the humans to flee as he keeps SUPERION at bay, Cup and his team arrive from behind the aerial bot combiner to do all they can to slow his rampage. Cup knows it's a fool's errand and may be the end of them all, but they have to do something, as he sees the helpless human police, with the best of intentions, futilely fire their tiny guns at the behemoth as he crushes their police cruisers. As Cup and his team move in, SUPERION doesn't even bother with infecting them, opting to blast them with his stress fracture cannon. The shots blowing apart tiny Bumblebee, as well as taking down Cup and Steeljaw effortlessly. BLURR's speed allows him to evade SUPERION's assaults as he moves around him, returning fire, but the power of the Air Warrior is too great. His blasts firing at a speed even BLURR can't outrun. Now unimpeded, SUPERION continues through the city. On the other side of the city, Defensor is attempting to help where the humans are the most vulnerable, the suspension bridge. Suddenly, Defensor comes under heavy fire as SUPERION attacks swiftly from the air, his cannon blowing loose a support beam of the bridge. Defensor grabs it, using his mighty strength to swat SUPERION out of the sky. SUPERION, using his innate aerial bot air maneuverability, treats the suspension cables as if they are a wrestling ring. He rebounds off of the cables, launching himself through the air at Defensor, infecting him, and therefore all 5 PROTECTOBOTS, as they disengage and also begin to brawl. RODIMUS Prime succeeds in arriving at Autobot City without further incident, knowing how at one point they were able to bring back ULTRA MAGNUS from the brink of death. RODIMUS seeks out Retgar, hoping his Junkion know-how can do something to improve Optimus Prime's current status.
Lassie, what have you done now?
Retgar, help me see if there's anything that can be done with Optimus.
I'm a doctor, not a forklift. His engines, they cannot take the strain.
Retgar, any hope that Junkions can repair him?
He's dead, Jim.
RODIMUS is disheartened by this diagnosis, but refuses to give up. Thankfully, Jessica approaches the situation in a very scientific way.
Who built Optimus in the first place?
The QUINTESSONS, and they revived him once before.
While not an accurate statement, I believe RODIMUS was simply thinking several steps ahead and coming to the conclusion of the analysis Jessica was trying to make. RODIMUS had been told before, while searching internally through the wisdom of the Matrix for answers, that the QUINTESSONS had created the Transformers. However accurate that is, one thing is certain. They at least helped evolve the Transformers up to the point they overthrew their QUINTESSON masters. The one who led that rebellion was Alpha Trion, and Alpha Trion helped Orion Pax grow to become Optimus Prime. RODIMUS reasons that along with these facts, and the facts that the Quintessons were able to somewhat reanimate Optimus, if not outright revive him, the best chance they have of bringing back Optimus Prime would be the devious and dangerous Quintessons. And Rodimus knows exactly the right Autobot for such a mission.
Come in, Skylinks. Bring me a Quintesson.
A Quintesson? But they're in hiding at the far reaches of the galaxy.
What's the matter? Don't you think you can handle it?
Of course I can handle it, but what on Cybertron do you want with a Quintesson?
I need a Quintesson to rebuild Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime? I will not rest until I have found you a Quintesson, though it may stress my superior engines beyond endurance.
Just do it!
If anyone can fulfill an impossible request such as this, it's the magnificent and ever-amazing Skylinks. ULTRA MAGNUS, hot on the trail of Rodimus, knows exactly where he'd take Optimus Prime. He must have known Wreck-Gar was currently at Autobot City, and would certainly know firsthand what Wreck-Gar could possibly do with Optimus. But also being a fair amount slower than the turbo-revving Rodimus, Magnus has finally caught up to his prey, blasting through the defensive outer wall of the city to hunt down Rodimus Prime. I think it's worth pointing out that, at least as I see it, this focus on Rodimus isn't brought out by any deep resentment against him for being the leader and Matrix bearer when the task was given to Ultra Magnus originally. I feel that Magnus is far too pure for such pettiness. I believe it's simply that he's looking to take down a worthy opponent, and considering by this point in the season, we've seen Ultra Magnus beat back incredible odds and hordes of foes. We know that a roid-raging, unhindered Ultra Magnus would make an exceedingly dangerous adversary, even for a talented and cunning warrior such as Rodimus Prime. Thankfully, Rodimus is alerted to Magnus closing in and wisely makes the decision that, despite the capabilities, strength, and firepower of Metroplex, Rodimus can't risk the spores spreading into his systems. Metroplex alone could probably level every city on this planet in a matter of hours if he became infected with this virus.
I'm sorry, Metroplex, but I have to do this.
I understand, Rodimus.
Just as he's nearly finished putting Metroplex into a locked stasis mode, at least until they can find a way to contain this plague, the screen before Rodimus reflects the image of Ultra Magnus right behind him and ready to pounce. But Rodimus is faster than Magnus and far stronger than he was as Hot Rod, throwing the nearby console at Magnus hard, taking Magnus down, but only for a moment, just long enough to ensure that Metroplex is securely dormant.
One more switch and Metroplex is safe! Fight the disease, Ultra Magnus, not me!
It's over, kid! I've won!
Don't believe it, old friend!
You can't escape, Rodimus! I can track your gas fumes anywhere!
Rodimus has set everything in motion, deciphering the best chance they have to bring back Optimus Prime, sending Skylinks to fetch a Quintesson to accomplish it, and securing Metroplex to keep him from destroying the surface of the Earth until they can overcome the challenge of these spores that drive everyone they infect into a rage-filled, violent spiral. Aside from all that, he isn't sure what to do but survive, keep moving, try and use himself to distract his infected troops to come at him instead of turning their firepower towards the humans any more than he can help. Also, he must protect Optimus, preserve him until help can come. Maybe, if he can be brought back, he of all people would know what to do. Rodimus continues to evade Ultra Magnus as he's pursued through the city streets of Metroplex until he finds himself cornered with no way around the incoming Magnus. Fortunately, Wreck-Gar, who seems to have been taught how to lasso by Rodimus, yanks Magnus back, subduing him before he can get at Rodimus Prime.
Like I said before, kid, it's all over!
And as I said before, don't believe it. You certainly took long enough.
Well, excuse us!
Hey, I'm not complaining. But now what do we do with him?
With great strength, Magnus pulls Wreck-Gar close, barely able to lay a hand on him before being shot down by Rodimus. But by this point, the spores have become so strong, so potent, that now one small touch is all it takes.
You okay?
I'm a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
Rodimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, bearer of the Matrix, breaker of Unicron, has now also become infected by these spores. Almost instantly, he breaks out into a gleefully berserker shooting spree, firing into the air, heading off to tear through the streets and induce mayhem in every mile. We're shown a news broadcast catching us up on the status of the rest of the world, of how the Autobots and Decepticons have already spread this virus around the globe, and how this virus has now even begun to spread throughout humanity.
I'm Bonnie Carlson with KSUN TV. The hate plague, as it's come to be known, is spreading like wildfire across our world. It began with infected Transformers, but soon spread to our human population as well. How many of us will be infected? Is there any cure? And if not, when will the plague end? And will any of us be left alive to see that day?
All over the world, humans and Cybertronians alike fight mindlessly like drones, filled with reckless hate. Monuments are toppled, buildings crumble. Even the Autobots and Decepticons see no lines drawn between armies, no distinction between enemies. All the people of the earth riot in mobs in every city, in every nation. The entire planet is lost, doomed, unprotected by those who swore to defend this earth and its people. All started by the simple resentment of one man, foolish and egotistical, whose quest for personal vengeance and gratification in the destruction of those he felt had wronged him, scarred him, led him to use the people closest to him. That callous and selfish manipulation, urged on by hate and fear, led them to harmful actions. Actions and machinations they delighted in, as it snowballed beyond their control, their entire world crashing down around them. If they had only contained these spores, notified the Autobots of their recovery of Optimus Prime, and moved on in their lives with their loved ones and their work in peace. Now, how many lives would be lost? How much damage done? And all for what? The Earth was lost. And with the spacefaring capabilities of both the Cybertronians and the humans, this hate plague continues to spread unabated throughout the galaxy, destroying every civilization it touches. But there is still one very small, very remote chance to make things right. Skylinks, in the most remote parts of the galaxy, still has a mission. We find that even the QUINTESSONS, wherever in the cosmos they found to hide in and plot, already have not been spared the epidemic of this hate plague, so fast has been its spread. An entire legion of Sharkticons rampage as they chase a Quintesson that looks very much like the judge who tried Cup and Hot Rod previously.
Sharkticons, execute them!
Though he was imposing in that scenario, it's now almost comical to see him bouncing along as fast as he can in a total panic. The Sharkticon's right on his heels, tentacles. It seems all this carnage on this planet has drawn the eye of Skylinks, who has now found exactly what he was looking for. The Quintessons have given the Autobots no end of trouble since their reappearance, and Skylinks can't help but enjoy seeing one in such an imperiled predicament. Yet, he has a job to do, and this is the one and only chance he and the Autobots have to save the galaxy. Skylinks pulls up alongside while still being very careful to avoid contact with the infected Sharkticons, and asks condescendingly,
Need a lift, Quintesson?
The Quintesson would love nothing more than to escape this place, even if it means striking a deal with an Autobot, which he surely sees coming, yet he seems eager to pay any price asked.
Yes, let me in! Get him! Infect them all! Not so fast! You can only come aboard if you agree to restore Optimus Prime to life! I'll do it! Wise choice!
The bargain made, Skylink swoops ahead to pick up the Quintesson and take off quickly, away from the infected Sharkticons, and head back to Autobot City as fast as his thrusters can manage. It seems that Rodimus Prime and Retgar had Optimus's body in a deeply entrenched bunker within Metroplex. Such a well-protected place would make sense as a medical bay during times of siege, where damaged Autobots could come to be repaired during battle without risking further injury. The premises seem presently abandoned, as Rodimus, Magnus, and the other inhabitants have sped elsewhere to cause chaos. It's in this bunker we find that Skylinks has brought the Quintesson, who gravely assesses the task set before him.
This is not going to be easy!
At least he didn't say it would be impossible. However, Skylinks both encourages and warns the Quintesson.
Just be sure you do it right!
It's almost like he's saying, "You must bring him back completely, fully functional, and no more of this zombie nonsense like before." The Quintesson gets right to work, beginning with the smallest servos and hardware, reconnecting relays and circuits, all to ensure that everything is restored to perfect working order.
I've got the main memory board finished. Start power to it. Too much power, you metal moron! Do as I say or your leader will never be revived! Jolly good show! Legs are operative, now the arms! Watch out! Ah! You did that on purpose! It was an accident!
It's difficult to say if it really was an accident, but Skylink surmises this just wouldn't be a Quintesson without a little deceit. At least he seems to be keeping his word about restoring Optimus, and at this moment, that is all that matters. Still, the Quintesson wants to know that if he succeeds in this, he won't just be left to face the hate plague still ravaging his home and all the universe.
So, how much longer? We're almost done. And what are you going to do about the disease? Optimus will know what to do. I hope.
For Skylinks to say this, instead of boasting some daring do to the Quintesson, indicates the reverence Skylinks has for Optimus, and the faith he's placed in him as the last hope of all sentient beings. As more time passes and the Quintesson prepares the final steps of his repairs and treatments on Optimus, Skylinks is feeling time ticking down, hope diminishing, and knows they can't spare one more moment. His body prepared, all that was left was to re-energize the faint flicker of Optimus's spark that the Matrix had imbued previously.
There's no time left for mistakes. The world needs a leader, now!
The Quintesson understands this, but also needs Skylinks to understand the risks involved in this last step to revitalize Optimus, restore his spark fully, and that they may in fact burn out his systems to a point that would dash any attempts at another try. This was it.
Once again, we are ready. But if this doesn't work, Optimus Prime will never live again.
As this final step begins, a white light floods the entire room, infusing the body of Optimus Prime. This power surge almost blinding to Skylinks and this Quintesson, who both stand in awe of not just the light, but the presence, the feeling, filling every molecule of their bodies, overwhelming in its warmth and majesty. From within that light, we see the strong and stoic figure of Optimus Prime rise up. His color, his countenance, all completely restored and rejuvenated. Even the Quintesson is astounded at this figure, astonished at the power shining from him, bewildered that, against all odds, he was able to perform such a feat. Yet even in his own elation at this miracle he has performed, he still whispers in the presence of this noble being.
I've done it. Optimus Prime lives.
Skylinks can't believe his eyes. He could almost believe this to be a Quintesson trick, and yet he knows beyond any doubt that what he's seeing is real. Even he can't help but whisper with reverence and awe at who stands before him.
It's true. Our leader is back.
Optimus, his spark reigniting, his mind reawakening, his strength coursing, hears the words of his old friend, sees his face staring almost in disbelief, and the very first words that Optimus Prime speaks in his return are words of comfort and reassurance. He calls his old friend by name to confirm the truth to him, to show Skylinks that he is indeed himself once more, that he has truly returned, and also to let him know that no matter what conflict drove the Autobots to seek help from a Quintesson to restore him, Optimus Prime will not rest until this conflict is over.
Yes, Skylinks. And now no force in the universe will stop me.